I can guarantee you now that these two paddles, the J2K and the J2K Pro, are going to be on every reviewer's shortlist for the best Kevlar paddles of the year. Honolulu Pickleball is renowned for making paddles with huge sweet spots, and the J2K and J2K Pro are no different. With huge sweet spots, low swing weights, and high spin rates, these paddles are going to meet the needs of a lot of players. And not only that, but these two paddles are listed at some of the lowest prices for Kevlar paddles on the market right now, with this channel's discount code PBMED bringing the J2K Pro to a final price of $145 and the J2K to a final price of $135, putting it right alongside �𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐓's Proline Energy S as the least expensive Kevlar paddles on the market right now when compared alongside over a dozen of the industry's top performing Kevlar paddles. I'm going to cut right to the chase here and get to the need to know details and talk about the similarities and differences between these two paddles. Both of these paddles are hybrid shaped with an overall paddle length of 16.2 inches, a width of 7.8 inches, and a handle length of 5.5 inches. They're both thermoformed and made with 100% DuPont sourced Kevlar fibers, which is essentially the cream of the crop for aramid fiber quality. Most paddles have either a low swing weight and a low twist weight, or a high swing weight and a high twist weight, meaning that as a paddle feels heavier in your hand, it becomes more stable and usually has a larger sweet spot. And vice versa, lighter feeling paddles tend to have smaller sweet spots and feel less stable than heavier feeling paddles. But there are a rare handful of paddles and paddle companies that have figured out how to make low swing weights with high twist weights, and the J2K and J2K Pro are among those paddles. I measured the swing weight for both of these paddles at 113 and the twist weight for the J2K Pro at 7.15 and the twist weight for the J2K at 7.1. Not only did this translate to lighter feeling paddles with larger sweet spots and stability, but the twist weights of these two paddles actually take the #1 and #2 overall spots in my paddle database for twist weight, making these the most stable paddles that I've tested. And lastly, for similarities, both of these paddles showed high spin rates with RPMs over 2000, putting them in the high spin category. And now for differences, I consider the J2K an all-court paddle and the J2K Pro a power paddle, and here's why. Though both of these paddles are made with 100% DuPont Kevlar aramid fibers, the J2K Pro is made with a slightly tighter weave, making the paddle surface just a little bit more dense and giving that paddle just a little bit more pop when compared to the J2K. And with that being said, both of these paddles are capable of producing high velocity drives, with them averaging right around 57 miles per hour each in terms of average drive speed, but the extra pop pushing the J2K Pro over the edge into the power category for me. When comparing those drive speeds to some of my other favorite Kevlar paddles, 𝐻𝐈𝐒𝐓 Pro Gen 3 tops the list for overall top speed at 58.8 miles per hour, followed closely by the Mark I and Body Helix X3 Pro at 57.9 and 57.75 miles per hour, then the J2K Pro and J2K at 57.1 and 56.9 miles per hour, and the new Huarache X Control Kevlar paddle and the 6.0 Ruby coming in at 55.6 and 54.7 miles per hour, which put the J2K and the J2K Pro on the higher end for drive speed, but really again, their standout features are the light feel and the large sweet spot combination combined with price. Doing a price comparison with the other Kevlar paddles, after applying discount codes to each of these, the J2K sits right alongside �𝐿𝐒𝐈𝐒's Proline Energy S as the least expensive Kevlar paddle that I've tested. J2K Pro is no slouch either, staying more on the bargain end of this spectrum, falling well below the price of some of the more expensive Kevlar paddles, including Thrive's Azul, 6.0 Pickleball's Ruby, and the Komodo Katana. I think the J2K and the J2K Pro play extremely well and come in at price points that are very, very friendly. If you want a good all-court paddle that's easy to control and still capable of producing good speed on drives, go with the J2K. But if you want just a little bit more bump and pop and power, and you still want to maintain that good sweet spot and low swing weight, go with the J2K Pro. And while I think a huge portion of people are really going to enjoy these paddles, The only people that I think may not like them as much are people who are looking for Kevlar paddles that lean more heavily into the power realm, in which case I would point you in the direction of Huda's Viva Pro Gen 2, Mark Pickleball's Mark 1, or Body Helix's X3 Kevlar paddles. That's my take on the J2K and J2K Pro Kevlar paddles. I hope the review was helpful, and if it was, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you here for the next one.